so let's go to the next thing over here. Vanessa Guillen, the whole story with Vanessa Guillen. Remains found in Texas to be confirmed of the slain soldier, Vanessa Guillen. Fam, you got any opinions about this right now?
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, I think it's just horrible. I mean, I know that this has been happening for a long time. You could go back to even Chelsea Manning and that whole situation. Don't ask, don't tell. I mean, just the fact that we even had that policy in our government is disgusting to me. I mean, I didn't realize the implications. Obviously, I was extremely young, but I just, the whole thing, like the way women have been treated in the military, women have been told to keep quiet is gross. And again, it's the military operates just like the police operate just like the military. It's like all the same. We're going to cover up each other's bullshit. We're going to protect each other. You can't rat us out. It's that same mentality that continues.
Yeah, it says remains found in Texas last week have been confirmed of those of Army Specialist Vanessa Guillen, who was thought to have been killed by a soldier who later died by suicide, the military said. They approached the man. He shot himself. He killed himself. She had made reports. She was pretty much ignored, fam. And this happens in the military a lot. You want to talk about sexism? Oh, my God. It's in the military big time. And I feel sorry for any females trying to report stuff because they are chastised, they're ignored, they are retaliated against by way of rank, by way of pay, by way of duty. And this woman cried out for, this gentleman who was really harassing her. At one point, he came into the shower where she was at, and she had to ask him to leave, and he just refused to leave. I mean, and the fact that they don't react on these situations, they just blow them off. This leads to a lot of deaths, and unfortunately, this lady was killed, carved up, chopped up, and it's a terrible loss, and it's happened in Fort Hood before. They've had a history of this stuff, and it's going to continue to happen until we get in there and change things. Now, I just want to also point out that in this same base, 14 included six Fort Hood soldiers arrested in Temple for a sex trafficking prostitution sting. Now, I didn't even know this was going on, fam. And I heard the lawyer speak for Vanessa Guillen, and she talked about that, and it was just scary.
Yeah.
Just scary about what happens over there. So I went to the protest the other day. Johnny, do you want to show a little clip of it? Johnny will show a little clip of the Native Americans who paid tribute to Vanessa Guillen. Why are we here at Donald Trump's Star today? Is this a protest against Donald Trump, or is this the demand that Donald Trump open up an investigation right now to what's going on?
So right now, since that's the puppet in the White House, we come to a Star to demand justice for Vanessa, to demand justice for all the people getting killed right now through the police with no reason to be shot, especially when they're unarmed. And we're here to demand justice for all the children and the men being held within the concentration camps, being sprayed with chemicals, as well as the children being molested in those pedophile camps. So today is a day of demanding justice.
Everybody standing here, it is our responsibility to put it all on the line to free our kids from a system that was only created to murder and enslave brown and black children. Now, do I eliminate anybody else? No, because what did I say? It is every single one of you that are here today, black, white, brown, Asian, whatever it may be. It is your responsibility now to come together and flip this system. What are we here for? Say her name! Vanessa Guillen! Say her name! Vanessa Guillen! Say her name! Vanessa Guillen! We are here because she reported sexual assaults. And now she's gone. To me, that's a little girl. You know, like that's a little girl that She was only a couple years older than my daughter, who wanted to do something special that in her mind. Now we have another sister here that survived, a survivor. I'd like for her to share her story. I'm here today in hopes that we can fight for justice for Vanessa. What was done to Vanessa was unjust. We need to continue to spread the word and continue to fight because Vanessa deserves justice. Her family deserves justice. I'm a veteran, and I'm here to represent the rest of the female veterans who have been victims of sexual harassment and who have been victims of sexual assault. Vanessa was not alone. She was one of the hundreds, maybe even thousands of females that get sexually harassed in the military. We report it, we get laughed at. We report it, we get treated differently. This is real. It happens. I'm a mother now. A mother of two beautiful girls. And I refuse to let anything happen to them. I would die for my daughters. So when I heard Vanessa's mom speaking, it touched my heart. Because I'm a mother and I would do anything for my daughters. So I stand here to support her so she can fight justice for her daughter. It's unjust. Whatever happened to her on the base, it wasn't just two. I'm sure there was hundreds, many that knew about it, and they tried to cover it up.
Right.
So we need to keep fighting. We need to stay united, and we need to keep fighting for justice for Vanessa. I was one of the lucky ones to come home. I was one of the lucky ones to stand here and still speak. But I'm here to demand justice for Vanessa Guillen. Say her name! Vanessa Guillen! Say her name! Say her name! Vanessa Guillen! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Say her name!
That's pretty much it, right? We took to the streets then. We marched several blocks, about a half a mile, maybe close to a mile, actually. It was good marching. They ended up at a bank. It was definitely, speaking to a lot of people out there. You can see what Jonah said. It's about us coming together there right now. It's up to the responsibility for all of us to come together. It was definitely, as we see some of these protests that we go on, the looking at capitalism, the understanding, the coming together that's necessary right now. Because when it comes to imperialism, everybody's a victim. Some more than others, obviously. But we talk about how the military just treats our personnel inside and out. It's disgusting the way they treat women. They use their soldiers as pawn. They lie to them. The whole system needs to be taken down. I think this is kind of important because people inside the military start realizing what's going on themselves.
Yeah.
That's when a lot of things change and go, holy shit, what are they doing to us? How are they using us?
And I think women more than others should definitely use as this also, like, not obviously injustices against women are happening in the military, but also ask yourselves why they're operating like this, why there's so many similarities between the military and the police, because they're built the same way, with the same sort of mindset that we protect each other. We do not rat on each other. We aren't going to talk about these things. We're going to bury them under the rug. And then you ask yourselves, why am I doing this? I'm literally risking my life for this country in order to get raped and killed, or potentially just get raped and my life, have traumas because of it. Also traumas from being in the battlefield. Also, all these things that happen to you, is it worth the money you might be getting? Is it worth it? And ask yourselves why. If your reasons for doing this are for having healthcare, having a job, and having a possible education after you're done,
that's what it is,
then it's like, well, shouldn't you have that anyway? Shouldn't your country provide that for you? If all other countries, these are basic things that all other countries are providing to people. In Canada, for instance, their military is laughable in the sense of they don't have the potency like we do, and we constantly make fun of them for it, but they are providing for their citizens, so they don't really need a huge military presence. They have healthcare for all. They right now are getting $2,000 a month for the people who are not working during the whole coronavirus pandemic. They have a government that is more representative right now. Obviously, we have a lot of the neoliberals in government, which is something that is a problem worldwide. But they are like, they have these basic things that we can only long for in America, and that they tell you that it's communism to even want that. So you have to start asking yourself these questions, and then eventually you get to the point where you realize the military industrial complex is there to keep people not as educated, to keep them compliant with the system and make them feel proud of their country, that patriotism, so they are okay pushing war in other countries. And it just gets really bad from there.
Tulsi Gabbard, John, went over and talked. You got a little video or a clip. Here's a picture right over there. There's a long video. We don't need to show it, but there's Tulsi Gabbard went over, and there's the lawyer you can see on the left. When the lawyer, like I told you, she's representing Vanessa Guillen's family.
Yeah.
The lawyer for Vanessa Guillen, and demanding answers and what she had to go through. And she has a lot of connections. But when she said there's a history of sex trafficking over there, I just kind of like fell off the chair. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what? In Fort Hood? In the military? It happens. But Tulsi Gabbard went and spoke. Can I read that there? I couldn't hold back my tears as I stood with PFC Vanessa Guillen's family this morning. Their strength, their courage, and resilience in the midst of their pain and mourning is incredible. They drove 24 hours from Texas to D.C. to bring attention to Vanessa's plight. When they arrived in D.C. yesterday, they learned Vanessa's remains were found, and woke up this morning to find out the primary suspect had shot and killed himself. The family deserves justice and closure. They deserve answers. Congress must step up. This is important, and investigate what happened to her and why, and who was involved. Like too many, Vanessa told her story. Vanessa told her family she was subject to sexual harassment by people within her chain of command, but she was too afraid to report it for fear and retaliation. I have and will continue to fight for a transparent, independent path to justice for victims of sexual harassment and assault, like the reforms in the Military Justice Improvement Act. Our troops deserve to have faith in their chain of command and in our justice system. Hashtag Vanessa Guillen.
I mean, that's great. I mean, I think it's good, to tackle what the military is doing right now. But I also think we need to tackle the bigger problem, which is the whole, just like how I feel about the police. You can't reform the police. You can't reform the military industrial complex. It has been operating in a foul way for far too long. We obviously need to, I think, defund the military. That doesn't mean you don't have anybody that serves in the country, because you do. I think as a country right now, in the climate we're in, you do need a military. But there's a difference between needing like a military and then being pro-war. You can have soldiers just like the majority of other countries have them, but they don't engage in war with all these countries. And so I think we need to completely redo the way we have been, the military has been for a long time. I just think people aren't really talking about that yet, but I think that's definitely is a way to. That's the only way I think we're gonna get pretty much what we want, and domestically.
Well, that's another thing. When it comes to our elected officials too, as well, the ones that support war, we have to start pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? All the presidents that got elected, you know what I'm saying, the last 3 terms, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people were voting to get rid of our endless war. When it was Obama, the big thing is that we wanted to get everybody out of Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
The Iraq war was in our face. We were disgusted about it. So we elected a person who we thought would be anti-war, but it turns out he was pro-war, and he just changed the tactics. He brought a lot of troops home, and then he went with the drone attacks, and he went crazy, and he expanded to other countries. So we have to chastise and denigrate these elected officials who prop up and, support war. Just like right now we should be calling Dianne Feinstein. If you're in California, get on the horn and call Dianne Feinstein's office and let her know what she did was disgusting and it was wrong.